All right, in this video, I want to talk to you about the idea of accepting of being a good loser or a better loser. All right, and most of you probably saying, well, what do you mean by that? When it comes to trading futures or any particular market, for example, it could be Forex, it could be options or even stocks. It doesn't really matter. It's all about psychology. Okay, you have to train yourself, your mind, to become a better trader. And there's tools and techniques that you must follow and understand just as well, and implement in your trading career if you choose to be a full-time trader. All right, or even part-time. You have to start from somewhere, but it all starts within accepting, your losses, or accepting just as well as accepting the wins. Okay. All right, or accepting the idea that maybe you didn't stay in your trade long enough, and you look at the idea of I could have got more off the table, and just things you have to work on to become a better trader overall in the end. So there's a difference of being a good loser versus being, if you want to call it, a bad loser, okay, or someone that can't accept the idea of losing a trade. And I talk about in videos ways to be able to cut your losses early enough. Because there's tools that you should be able to use at your exposure if you know how to trade correctly, versus staying into a trade and incurring or taking on a lot of drawdown. Those are traders that sit there and stay in a trade knowing that the market is getting ready to hit their stop loss, or allowing it to go past the stop loss area with hopes and dreams that the market is going to turn around. All right. Normally when the market breaks past an area that you have marked, okay, or your thresh, it's probably going to continue moving in the opposite direction of what you want to see it go. All right. If you're going long and it's moving going short, then you may want to go ahead and cut your loss early on. There's just ways in which you can, like I said, protect yourself. But from a mental standpoint, how can you improve upon that so that you can actually win more trades and taking losses? I talk about tools or ways to be able to do that again in the videos. So if you're into a trade and you see the market unfolding back in the opposite direction, you're up, you're in the green, and then it starts to come back against you, looking for those double candles in the opposite direction, whether it's up or down, or the market breaks right below your entry point. When I say swing, but always talk about the break of the candle in the opposite direction. So once you get that break where that candle that broke above or below at the rejection point, then when you see the market come back in the opposite direction, so if you're going long, you get the break in the candle, and then the candle folds to the downside that breaks below that rejection point, then you want to probably get out before the market hits your stop. So that's going to help protect you from taking a full-on drawdown, or the market running your stop completely. So if you can save yourself 5 points in the market before it hits your stops, then you save yourself, that extra loss of capital. So you have to train yourself, is what I'm trying to say, mentally when you start trading, and before you start trading really live, because you can back test and forward test, simulation and demo. You want to get it right the first time around before you start feeding that live account and start trading going live. So I'll show an example here in a moment of what I'm talking about cutting the losses early. I've talked about this in videos prior to, but I know, and you have to understand that trading is more psychological than just understanding simple concepts and fundamentals or technicals. You have to understand that this business of trading is more so about using the mind and knowing who you are as a person, and perfecting the craft, but allowing emotional elements, psychological elements like fear and greed to step into the way, then it's going to harm you overall. All right. Especially greed is one of those factors that really destroy most traders, because everybody has the idea that where they want to get rich overnight pretty quick. That's not what we want to focus on in this business. The money will come in time once you perfect and become better at the craft. So those that accept it and start off small in trading, meaning they put small amounts into their account, and allow it over time to basically build that account. And when you're doing that, you're building discipline. You're building patience, because that is a very critical component or piece of the puzzle, is being able to be patient and looking for and waiting for the right setups to take. Because if you're just taking trades left and right, and I see people who do this all the time. And if you are someone right now who's watching this and you actually jump in and out of trades and you're completely lost, leave a comment down below. I mean, there's nothing to really hide. If you struggle with the direction or which to trade, leave a comment down below. If you understand what I'm talking about, just in general, leave a comment down below, okay? If you are a sore loser or a bad loser, leave a comment down below. I like to hear from individuals because these are all things that you have to identify as yourself to what you really need to work on, all right? I know people are probably not respond to or drop a comment down below because they don't want to expose themselves in the sense of letting others know what they struggle with, but you have to kind of put it out there in the elements in the sense, and for it to come, for you to be able to work on yourself. You have to be able to identify the things that you need to work on as a trader. So if you are a bad loser or sore loser and you're working on wanting to become a good loser, meaning, okay, I take a loss, I minimize my loss, and I know how to correct it so that the next time around, I want to win. All right. So you have to think and put yourself in the mindset of, I know my shortcomings, but I want to fix them, okay? And fix them quicker than, sooner than later. That's the key to it. Understanding that if you're constantly taking trades where you're taking a major drawdown, then that's a cycle that you're going to have to break. You're going to have to move beyond that. You're going to have to understand what you need to do to correct that. So then once you've seen yourself, say for example, we were starting to reach levels of discipline, meaning you were once at taking major losses or drawdown, allowing yourself to stay way too deep into a trade or too long into a trade. And then you start moving in the right direction to where you have limitations, to where you're taking smaller losses. Okay. And now you are able to start to become profitable because now you're managing your trades better and you're becoming better at cutting your losses early on. And now you're winning more trades, then you're headed in the right direction. So you got to start somewhere and identify the major problem to be able to start minimizing it and knocking it back to where now, okay, I was down here, now I'm here. Okay, and now I'm up here. Okay, so I was here breaking even now. Now I'm fixing and correcting the problem so I can start taking and winning more trades. But I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of people don't want to heed to this, but I'm telling you, the key to this becoming a successful trader is really boils down to having the patience once you have learned the skill set and maybe a strategy, have put a plan in place for yourself, is being patient enough to wait for the right setup is all I'm trying to say. Okay, so please do yourself that biggest favor and take heed to what I'm trying to say there. So I just want to see people succeed overall. And again, if you are someone that is in the right headspace, you are moving in the right direction, you understand what I'm talking about when I say, becoming a good loser or a better loser, then you already know that you are in the process or in the mode of correcting, and that you are moving forward and starting to see profitability or gains. You may not be to where you're winning consistently more trades than losses or whatever the case is, or we're in a position to cut all your trades, all right? But you are headed in the right direction. There's still, even as experienced traders, there's still room for growth in this business and figuring out to better yourself over time, all right? We all have things that we need to work on when it comes to actual trading, because the market's always going to evolve. So we have to evolve as traders and maybe tweak our strategy some, trade our plan a little bit, So you have to understand the things that you need to work on as a trader is what I'm just really boiling down trying to say. If we talk about like trade management, becoming a better trader, putting us in a position to where we can take more wins, all right? Just for example, like right here, I marked up this setup yesterday. This is on the 24th of September. This was a demand setup, okay? Obviously, you should be able to see this where we got the market breaking slightly above these highs right here. So breaking structure to the upside. You got aggressive buying. That's what demand is. And we have a nice gap or unmitigated zone or imbalanced zone back here, okay? So when the market pulls back here, this was around about 7:30 yesterday morning. I'm looking at the market, okay, already. But when I see a setup like this, an opportunity like this, I'm going to move down to my lower base chart. My process of the strategy and how I trade is always based on looking at a supply and demand for one. That's the cornerstone to the strategy of how I trade. But I'm also looking at marking up a zone or zones off of a higher base chart, waiting patiently for the market to tap that zone. So when that happens and we get this pullback to this zone here, I'm moving down simply to a lower base chart. 24 range chart. Just using two charts pretty much. And the bigger zone is that 120 range higher base chart. The smaller zone is the 24 range chart. So I want to see where we had a higher base chart zone and a lower base chart zone being, created. Once we tap into the higher base chart zone, then I'm scaling down, moving to the 24R, the lower base chart. And then I see a beautiful demand zone resting inside the larger 120 range chart demand zone. From there, it's just a matter of rejection, looking for the break and close of the candle to the upside. Now, the part that I'm talking about and what makes a difference of someone being a good loser versus someone who's a sore loser or a bad loser, and understanding when to cut the trade early enough, okay? And when you do so, you say, okay, I lost. I didn't take on as much or incur as much drawdown. I may have gotten out at break even or a few ticks below that, but you saved yourself from losing a bunch of capital, okay? So, or your hard work funds or funds that you may have, whether it's small or, a decent size account. So when the market gives us the rejections, tap zone 1, tap zone 2, we get the rejection to go long. And then, if you start to see where the market is hesitant to really move with momentum to either to the upside or downside, of course, in this case here, we're talking about demand. Then what you want to do is, once you see the market maybe folding back in the opposite direction, remember what I said about the break, say for example, and close of the candle. So it would be like this candle right here, this bullish candle to the upside. Okay, so it tapped the zone, rejected. Some people may have gotten aggressive. If you get it aggressive, that's okay. You just have to know that you're risking a little bit more doing so versus waiting for more confirmation for rejection. Now, this is the candle right here that closes above this last down bearish candle right here. So that's the break and close of the candle right there at 20,065. Once you get that right there, this right here below this area here, you can get out at this area right here. Okay. All right. Because full on, maybe you have your stop originally resting back here or a few ticks. And that's what I talk about in videos. But what you can do to protect yourself from taking additional or incurring additional drawdown back to the stop area, the stop loss area, the full on stop, you can cut the trade once the market breaks right below the candle, okay, that actually gave you the confirmation to go long. Right here, right below 20,059 or 20,060, or let's say 20,059. Let's leave it like that, because when the market pushed up, it did come back and break below and close here. As you see that, right? Now, you haven't lost much of anything. Very minimal loss of any. Okay, maybe just a few points right there. All right, and then the market turns back around and starts to show bullish momentum back to the upside. You can take a second chance to go back long. Because when it did come back, yeah, it broke below this candle here. For all those that are really trying to micromanage their trades and really want to get out and not lose or take on as much, because I understand when you get back to this area right here, you're thinking about probably cutting the trade, right? And it's probably best to do so. But you have to understand, you have to give the market a little bit of room to breathe too, because they will sometimes come down here and even test this area if you are placing your stop right here at the back end of the where the confirmation was, or not the confirmation, where the rejection started at. Where the momentum to the upside started taking place. So in this case here, if you got out the trade here at 20,000, say 59 and a quarter, look what happened. It came down there maybe a point or two below that area and then turned back around, and look at all that happened. It pushed to the upside. So you just have to understand your limitations as a trader. You have to understand where to place your stops. You have to understand how much money are you willing to really risk. And if you really are micromanaging trades, meaning you really are trying to get out at break even if it comes back against you, or that you're okay with taking this a few points or a few tick stop, that's fine. But then you've also provided yourself an opportunity to where you're not taking on any more than that, where it comes back and hits your full on stop. Then you may position yourself to be in a better position to where you can actually take another second entry, because now the market is moving to the upside. Now, if it comes down here and breaks below here, and you get that break and close of that candle to the downside below this confirmation candle to go long, where it started at, not where it started at, but where you got the break and close of the candle below that area right there, and then you get the second red candle, then it's possible that they're going to continue probably moving to the downside. And the same thing in reverse of if the market is moving low, going to the downside. Okay, like meaning coming down, looking for supply, comes up there, above, taps an area, and then starts to come back in the opposite direction. But Just understand your limitations is what I'm really trying to say. And you have to focus in on and know, no matter what I show or show you on the charts here, this is how I do it. Okay, I'm not telling anyone to trade just like me. Your style of trading and what you have developed for yourself, you may say, well, I don't want to wait for the market to come down here and hit this area of stop right here. I'm very limited to the funds in which I can trade, so I'm going to place my stop once I get that break and close of the candle below the candle to where the confirmation was for me to go long. And if it breaks below that, I'm getting out the trade to avoid from taking on again more drawdown. All right. So you just have to really work on yourself, and that's going to help you transition from, being a bad loser or a sore loser, and more so into someone that says, okay, I understand the idea that there will be losses. I need to minimize my losses, but this helps you put you into the mindset of, now I'm a good loser. Okay. I took a small loss, but then I'm getting back into the market, and my next trades are going to be profitable trades. But you're minimizing the losses, which are very, very small, once you execute and get out that trade quick enough. All right. So you have to work on yourself, know your limitations when it comes to trading. I just wanted to talk about that today, because I know people, a lot of people get frustrated. Some things don't work out for them. They can't see it 100%. They test it and try it, and it just don't seem to work out. And that's why I say, if something doesn't work out for you, then just cut your ties and move on. Maybe it's something that you're just not completely grasping, or maybe speak up and ask a question or two as well. But again, that's all I wanted to share and talk about today. If you're not a current subscriber, please take the time and click on the subscribe button and spend some time watching the videos, because if you watch the videos, you can pretty much educate yourself, especially when it comes to strategy and how I trade, because it's pretty simplistic, but it's really more so about being very, very patient and looking for the right setups, because I'm looking for setups that occur first and foremost off of a higher base chart first. So, if you think about it logically, if you are not say trading from a higher base chart, but marking up the first zone from a higher base chart, and then the market comes back and taps that zone, whether it's a major area of supply or demand, 9 times out of 10, when it hits that area and you get confirmation on the rejection on the lower base chart, it's going to kick off numerous amounts of points. Okay. And I always talk about the NASDAQ. If you can pick up just 20 points off the NASDAQ on trade, based on that, using chart confluence, higher base and lower base charts, trading supply and demand, you can take one trade a day and be pretty much done and be profitable. Okay. So limit the number of trades. I've been trying to stress that to people. If you do so, you'll probably find yourself in a better position to where now, because people are so concerned about win rate and stuff like that, to where you start to see you're taking or having better trading days, more profitable trading days, and having more wins than losses. So, and also cut your losses early. All right. I talk about that in tons of videos as well. But if you're first time subscriber, please take the time to sub by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Make sure to turn your post notifications on so you don't miss any uploads here on the channel. For all those that are interested in the Discord, the link is right down in the description portion of the video. And for all those that want to join the private community to become an elite member, it's only $6.99. That's a month. That's all it is. But you gain access to the boatload of trade breakdown videos where I go into detail about trade setups. That's probably the biggest thing that helps people is being able to discuss and someone's trades. Okay, me being able to show you the trades that I take and say on Discord, but breaking them down, because the picture comes together for lots of individuals and past traders that were once part of this community and probably moved on, that are successful now. They spent time with the trade breakdowns so that they can understand about stop loss placement and profit target areas, but ultimately why I took the trade and breaking those things down when it comes to market structure and comes to the idea of surrounding supply and demand. You have to be able to read the charts first before you start depicting which areas or zones or levels you're going to trade from. That's the biggest thing. So again, if you want to become an elite member, there's a link right below the Discord link in the description portion of the video. If you click on that, where it says become a elite member, you'll see 2 tiers pop up. Just make sure to choose the second one for $6.99, and then you'll have direct access to that video content, the trade breakdowns, the video playlist, and a great video that I covered on market structure. But outside of that, if this video has helped you, if it kind of maybe inspired you in some sense or another, if you just simply found value in today's video, please do me the biggest favor and drop a like on the video. Take care and see everyone in the next one.